Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone out there is doing absolutely fantastic and that you've been making the right investment choices and that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to follow me on social media. There are links in the description below the video. It's a little box. You can't miss it. It's like right below the thing where you can also click like on the video. How convenient, right? So weird how they're just like sitting there together. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. My friends. I'm not sure what's going on, but I would like to normally logically assume that it is going to bode extremely well for people who are actually holding and buying and investing in cryptocurrencies. The world seemingly has turned a corner and everyone knows crypto and everyone wants to buy crypto and everyone is invested in investing in crypto. And the sooner that more people on the planet actually figure this out, I think it will actually change the tides of wealth for a lot of people. Because the more we get news about this, I hope that all of you every single day feel more informed about how the world is basically moving over to a crypto standard. I would love more people to as well, but that doesn't seem to be remotely in the cards at any point. I was kind of shocked. This was also very relatively popular news. It wasn't the most popular news story out there, but I was kind of shocked that I was like, oh, people understand important things. The state of Michigan retirement system has apparently tripled. Yeah, has apparently tripled its Bitcoin exposure, reporting 300,000 shares of the ARC21 shares Bitcoin ETF, valued at $11.4 million in the second quarter. News that has seemingly disappeared from the minds of a lot of people, but also a lot of the news that we even get in general. People don't remember, or they don't think that it's newsworthy that these things are happening. Years ago, it was Michigan and I want to say two other states before we had any news about states adopting crypto or having a treasury or a reserve. That's all brand new. We had news years ago of like pension funds and retirement funds. This was even before I almost said the 101k. This is even before the 401k thing. We had a lot of news, an okay amount of news, about states individually investing in Bitcoin in some sort of way. A lot of them also back then, I assume they still hold it, but they were buying Bitcoin from exchanges. We hear a lot about like Bitcoin exposure through ETF shares. Years ago, they were actually holding Bitcoin. That was always like a major thing when it would come out in the news. It's similar to the Harvard, Yale, and Brown news. Like from 2018, they've been holding physical Bitcoin for a number of years now. I think a lot of the easier and more tax-friendly exposure now happens through the ETFs, kind of. But no, we've had news like this for a very long time. This is why when I say that these people have been here for a while, it's not a joke. It's not meant to be like they just totally got here 2 months ago. No, like rich people have been very interested in Bitcoin since at least 2014. At least. That's when we started. The original news that we were getting before revolved around 2014 and these companies being like, yeah, it's 2017 and, we've been here for 3 years now. And it's like, okay, So yeah, the states were doing the exact same thing. A lot. It's the same with some of the Nordic countries. A couple of Nordic countries also have Bitcoin exposure. I'm doing air quotes there, but they also hold physical Bitcoin. Because years ago, their pension funds and their sovereign wealth funds were also buying up Bitcoin already. It says that's an increase from 100,000 shares previously reported at the end of March. According to a 13F form filed Monday with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Are there any more words? Okay, here we go. And I guess someone from the state of Michigan retirement system said, in other words, through careful monitoring of Sharpe ratios, Bitcoin has been on that radar for a while now. And this is what we see being reflected in these purchases. Purchases remain carefully optimistic and constitute less than 0.1% of their cash portfolio, protecting themselves against significant drawdowns. End quote. For those of you who don't get that or maybe are a bit confused, a number of states, companies, cities for the last few years have already been buying up Bitcoin. Not as a hedge, maybe, who knows, but more of just as we are investing in it in some sort of form or fashion. But there usually tends to be some public pushback in that. Remember how some of the other states who were announcing that they were going to have a Bitcoin reserve or a strategic reserve, whatever the words people were using a couple of months ago. A lot of the bills that didn't go through had wording that basically said, like, the government can use all the public funds that they want to be able to move into Bitcoin. The issue there, for those of you who don't know, is that the public funds are for the public. So if you had one corrupt person in office and they decided one day, well, we need 47,000 more Bitcoin, they would buy 47,000 Bitcoin, and then the public would go, hey, where's our monies? And a lot of the other funds would also be drained as well. So this is why you might remember a lot of the reserves, like the initial from a lot of states, kind of fell flat. And it's because if you read the wording, it was kind of like, no, the government can do whatever they want. And people were like, I would like my pension. I would like some money. I would like to whatever. So this is why the 0.1 is there to show that, you know, we're investing, but the fund itself is at no risk, if you will, if Bitcoin does have another downward motion in price. Yeah, so this keeps on happening over and over and over. I mentioned that before a couple of months ago. I assume the answer is a resounding no. I was asking if this news does stuff for people, like people who are in Michigan. Knowing that your local government is buying up Bitcoin, buying up ETF shares, does that make you bullish? Does it make you want to buy Bitcoin? Are you seeing the golden light at the end of the tunnel where you realize that everyone's doing this because they're moving over to a cryptocurrency standard worldwide? Or does the news not excite you because the price didn't move up how you wanted it to when this news came out? That's usually the question. News like this is like, okay, like Bitcoin and crypto are going to be around for a very long time. So some people it's like, well, I don't really care because the price isn't at $1 million yet. So that's just how this works. That's the Michigan, geez Louise, state pension fund has tripled their Bitcoin exposure. And yeah, let's move on. Also part of the never-ending story. Japanese investment firm Metaplanet has acquired another 518 Bitcoin for for $61 million US. I would love $61 million right now. I would dare say I would be slightly happier. The latest transaction, the company now has 18,113 BTC. We just heard about them recently. Metaplanet seems to, not that they don't have a choice. Metaplanet announced previously that they want a lot of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's price goes up, those purchases are more difficult to do. So this seems to be the reason why they're announcing a lot of these, buys seemingly every other day. Since adopting Bitcoin as a treasury in 2024, Metaplanet has aggressively purchased a lot of Bitcoin. In July alone, they purchased 4,200 Bitcoin. The first took place on the 7th of July. Company purchased 2,200, followed by 797. 2 weeks later, they added another 780, capping it off with a final acquisition of 463 Bitcoin valued at 54 million US dollars. The issue is that Metaplanet says that they want 1% of all of Bitcoin that will ever be. They want 1% of the total supply. That's 210,000 Bitcoin. This one's worded a bit betterer. By the end of 2027, they want 1% of all Bitcoin. I don't know exactly how that's going to work out for them. In that, if we end up getting to a $250,000, $270,000 Bitcoin, all their money is going to have to be doubled. If all these analysts are correct, like imagine if cycles really are finished and next June, July, Bitcoin's really at 380,000 and slowly ticking up more and more, you'll need to triple the amount of money for your purchases. So a lot of these companies, not that it's the most important thing in the world, a lot of these companies have been announcing rather large numbers that they want for the amount of Bitcoin that they're trying to accumulate. Realistically, none of them are going to actually get there. That's not, saying it in a shady manner. It's just more of it's literally not possible for them to be able to all acquire 210,000 Bitcoin. There's not that much Bitcoin left for 10 companies. So wonderful. How phantasmagorical. Metaplanet keeps buying up all the crypto. Retail investors are seemingly nowhere to be found. Just really, they don't even care at all what's happening. Sure. Awesome. That's the Metaplanet news. And yeah, let's move on. It's not that I'm skeptical about this news so much as I am skeptical. They're very different things. Indonesia's vice president's office recently invited Bitcoin advocates to discuss whether adding crypto to the nation's reserves could make sense. There have been a number of countries who have been, I want to say, rather crypto unfriendly over the last decade or so. And if memory serves me correctly, Indonesia, I believe, was also one of them. I think, if I remember, they're one of the places that tried to ban crypto, and then I think they only allowed a number of coins within their country through a really hovered over crypto exchange. I think that is also run by the country. I think I remember Indonesia being that way. So my skepticism comes from, is this meant to benefit the people, or is it meant to benefit the people in the vice president's office? A lot of times we have heard before from a number of countries who shall not be named, who announced that crypto was legal within their borders, but it was only legal for people who had over $5 million worth of assets. It sounds fake. Nope, it's real. Look it up. It's from years ago. And then we've also had a lot of times where something will launch in a country, or, hey, our bank is, using Bitcoin, people can buy and trade Bitcoin here. And it's also only for wealthy people. So I said years ago There are a lot of countries like that who try to make sure that their citizens know nothing about Bitcoin. They aren't allowed to use or buy Bitcoin. And only other rich people in the country are. And so it's kind of a, a skewed kind of thing. So adding it to their, if they were to make reserves, I assume this is not the only country, what have you, looking into doing so. But it's, sure, why not? It was a full session full of big ideas about money. According to Bitcoin Indonesia on Twitter, the talks looked at using Bitcoin mining as part of a reserve mechanism. No policy has been set yet, but officials showed real interest in learning more. I assume it's because they figured out that other countries are doing it. And this is just complete logic. If Bitcoin and crypto are going to take over and you don't have any, you're going to be left behind. If every other country, if every other blah, blah, blah is talking about mining Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, trading Bitcoin, using Bitcoin, if you haven't seen it, it's been in the news over the course of this year. A number of countries have apparently, allegedly, behind the doors, closed doors, basically agreed with each other that they're going to use Bitcoin and stable coins to transact, to circumvent the US dollar because they're de-dollarizing, and also to get around sanctions. Like, it's appearing more and more. So if we get rumors that 5 countries are going to be buying up Bitcoin, and we think they're rumors, but they actually did happen, and I would assume that the higher-ups in Indonesia know, oh, no, wait, they actually did do it, then, you got to jump on the board as well. Based on reports, the discussion centered on whether crypto could help Indonesia diversify its nearly $153 billion foreign reserves, up slightly, another billion since May of this year. The country traditionally holds gold, US dollars, and government bonds. Introducing the crypto asset would be a major shift. Bitcoin Indonesia shared resources like the Bitcoin Standard and Ray Dalio's The Changing World Order to back up their points. So, yeah, I assume nearly every country is doing this. This is, of course, an assumption. But I do assume that even if they don't announce it, many countries probably, because, and I say it this way, it's not a lot of money for them. Most countries probably are holding on to around 1,000 Bitcoin as a just in case. If we can be honest with ourselves, it's not just Metaplanet. It's not just Michigan State. These countries are like, if you've ever looked at the actual sovereign wealth funds and how they play and where they put their money, it's usually hundreds of different places. Any new company that arises that looks, potentially good, they'll buy, $2.7 million worth of shares in that company. For a country to be like, hey, let's allocate, $800 million into this asset and let's see where it goes. 80 other countries have done the same. This is where I assume it's going, but nothing dramatic yet as far as them announcing like, hey, we want, 210,000 Bitcoin as well. So fantastic. Interesting to see the way that the world is moving. Never, ever forget how early you are in this market. Do not forget the opportunity that has been placed directly in front of you. Don't forget the news that you are hearing every 24 hours. There's a lot of money flowing into this space. Governments and companies want as much crypto as humanly possible. So it might be time to see if crypto is right for you. I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.